For decades, Canada and the US built cars together, their auto industries deeply intertwined. That changed when the Trump administration imposed a steep 25% tariff on Canadian-made vehicles, upending the industry overnight. Canadian factories, especially in Ontario, suddenly faced crippling costs, making them far less competitive. Automakers, operating on thin margins, had to rethink their entire North American strategy, fast. The tariffs threatened not just factories, but entire communities built around auto jobs. Companies faced a harsh choice: absorb the costs, pass them to consumers, or move production to the US. The first major crack appeared in Brampton, Ontario, where Stellantis was about to make a game-changing decision. Stellantis's Brampton plant, long considered a pillar of Ontario's auto sector, stood as a symbol of Canadian manufacturing strength for decades. Generations of workers built their lives around its steady hum, and the plant's presence shaped the local economy and community identity. But in 2023, the plant's doors closed for good, leaving 3,000 workers suddenly jobless and sending shockwaves through Brampton. Families who had relied on the plant for stability faced an uncertain future, and the city's sense of security was shaken. Hopes for a revival flickered briefly when Stellantis announced plans to retool Brampton for Jeep Compass production. However, those hopes were dashed when the company abruptly scrapped the project, blaming the newly imposed 25% tariff on vehicles exported to the US. The tariff made Canadian production far less competitive, forcing Stellantis to reconsider its strategy. Instead of investing in Brampton, Stellantis shifted its focus south of the border, moving the Jeep Compass project to its Belvidere, Illinois plant. This decision was part of a sweeping $13 billion US investment, promising to create 5,000 new American jobs, and revitalizing a community that had also faced factory closures. For Stellantis, the move was simple math. Building in the US allowed the company to avoid costly tariffs and protect its bottom line. The economic logic was clear, even if the human cost in Brampton was high. Brampton's loss became Illinois' gain, a direct and visible result of US protectionist policies. The shift highlighted how quickly trade barriers can alter the fortunes of entire communities. Yet, Stellantis didn't abandon Canada entirely. The company announced 1,500 new jobs for Windsor, Ontario, focusing on higher-margin, more specialized vehicle models. This move offered a glimmer of hope for Canadian auto workers, though it couldn't fully offset Brampton's losses. Stellantis's new strategy was clear: keep select profitable production in Canada, where expertise and infrastructure remain strong, but shift high-volume, mass-market models to the US, where tariff-free access to the American market made large-scale production more viable. It was a calculated retreat from Canada, not a full withdrawal, an adaptation to new economic realities rather than a total exit. The message was unmistakable. Tariffs and protectionist policies were rapidly reshaping the North American auto industry, redrawing the map of where cars are built and who gets the jobs. Canadian leaders reacted with outrage to Stellantis's sudden pullout, calling it a shocking blow to the nation's auto industry and a betrayal of trust. The announcement sent shockwaves through Parliament, with politicians from all parties demanding answers and accountability. The mood in Ottawa was tense as leaders scrambled to respond to the crisis and reassure anxious workers and communities. Industry Minister Melanie Joly didn't mince words. She threatened legal action against Stellantis, citing broken commitments tied to over $1 billion in public funding. Joly emphasized that the government had entered into these agreements in good faith, expecting Stellantis to deliver on its promises to Canadian workers and taxpayers. The federal government had already paid Stellantis $222 million, with even more taxpayer money now at risk. Officials scrambled to assess the potential fallout, worried about the impact on jobs, local economies, and Canada's reputation as a reliable partner for global investment. Ontario Premier Doug Ford was equally forceful, demanding that Stellantis honor its commitments to workers and the community. Ford warned that the company's actions would not go unchallenged, and he pledged to stand with affected families and businesses. Unifor Union President Lana Payne called the move a deep betrayal, blaming U.S. tariffs for sacrificing Canadian jobs and livelihoods. She accused Stellantis of abandoning its responsibilities and putting profits ahead of people, fueling anger among union members. The union vowed to fight back, promising to defend workers' rights and hold Stellantis accountable for its decisions. Rallies and protests erupted outside factories, as workers demanded justice and a fair deal. In response, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a $5 billion emergency fund to support industries hit by the tariffs, aiming to cushion the blow for workers and businesses caught in the crossfire of the trade dispute. But even with legal threats and emergency aid, the deep sense of loss and frustration among workers and their families was impossible to ignore. Many felt abandoned, uncertain about their future and the fate of their communities. Canada was left paying the price for a trade war it didn't start, facing tough questions about how to protect its industries and workers in an increasingly uncertain world. Stellantis' exit triggered a domino effect across Canada's auto sector, sending shockwaves through an industry that had long been a pillar of the national economy. The departure of such a major player signaled to others that the landscape was shifting, and not in their favor. GM responded swiftly, halting electric vehicle production at its Ingersoll plant and cutting a shift in Oshawa. Executives pointed directly to the mounting tariff pressures, which made it increasingly difficult to justify keeping operations in Canada. The company, once a symbol of stability in Canadian manufacturing, now faced tough choices about where to invest and build. Honda soon followed, announcing it would move CR-V production from Alliston, Ontario, to the US. The company also postponed its much-anticipated plans for a new EV plant in Canada, citing the uncertainty created by the new trade barriers. For workers and local communities, these announcements were a heavy blow, erasing years of progress and investment almost overnight. The tariffs made new investments north of the border too risky for automakers, who now saw Canada as a less attractive place to expand or modernize their facilities. The uncertainty rippled through supply chains, affecting not just the big names, but also smaller part suppliers and service providers. Each move deepened the crisis for Canadian auto workers as jobs and production shifted south. Families who had relied on steady paychecks from the auto sector now faced layoffs and an uncertain future. The sense of loss was palpable in communities built around these factories. The industry was being hollowed out, not by inefficiency or lack of innovation, but by a single U.S. policy that upended decades of cross-border cooperation. The effects were immediate and far-reaching, touching every corner of the sector. Tariffs weaponized market access, forcing companies to choose between Canadian plants and American customers. For many, the decision was clear. Follow the market, even if it meant abandoning long-standing operations and loyal workforces in Canada. For Canada, the wave of departures felt like a slow-motion catastrophe, unfolding day by day as more companies reconsidered their future north of the border. The sense of uncertainty grew, with no clear end in sight. The foundation of a key economic sector was cracking under protectionist pressure, leaving communities, workers, and the entire country to wonder what would come next for Canadian manufacturing. The tariffs didn't just hurt Canada, they hit American consumers too. Automakers passed the 25% tariff costs onto buyers, raising average car prices by nearly $2,000 for 2026 models. With new cars already expensive, this pushed vehicles further out of reach for many families. Monthly payments climbed, and automakers quietly removed features or increased destination charges to offset costs. The policy meant to protect U.S. jobs was making cars less affordable at home. Jobs gained in Illinois came at a cost to consumers nationwide. The interconnected market meant tariffs rippled through to every dealership. American buyers were now paying a protectionism premium on their cars. Amid the auto tariff chaos, the U.S. Supreme Court weighed a separate case on Trump-era tariffs under Section 232. Automakers hoped for refunds on $8 billion in duties, but the case didn't touch the 25% auto tariffs driving the crisis. Nor did it address steel and aluminum duties that also raised costs. The legal battle was important for company finances, but irrelevant to the fate of Canadian plants. For workers, the court case was a distant concern. It wouldn't bring jobs back. The real issue remained. The auto tariff, untouched by the courts, was reshaping the industry. Legal wrangling only added to the uncertainty plaguing automakers. The North American crisis is part of a global automotive shakeup. Automakers worldwide face economic headwinds, tech disruption, and shifting demand. Volkswagen cut investment plans, and China's car market slumped even as Chinese exports surged. BYD's sales dipped while Tesla's rose in China, highlighting fierce EV competition. Companies are rethinking global strategies, consolidating in key markets to reduce risk. Stellantis' move to Belvidere was part of a broader effort to shield itself from trade disputes and supply chain shocks. The Canadian exodus is just one example of automakers prioritizing regional strongholds over global sprawl. In a volatile world, the industry is moving from integration to strategic regionalism. Canada now faces a crossroads after the auto sector's upheaval. Legal threats and emergency funds offer short-term relief, but the long-term challenge is daunting. Canada must rethink its industrial strategy in a world where US tariffs can strike at any time. Diversification and innovation, like EV batteries and new markets, may be the only path forward. The US is gaining jobs, but at the cost of higher prices and strained relations with its closest ally. The North American auto industry's strength was always integration, not isolation. The future may bring more fragmentation, higher costs, and less cross-border collaboration. The empty Brampton factory stands as a stark symbol of a new era. Strategic regionalism has replaced seamless globalization.